Okay, welcome to our lecture on intent. Intent word comes from the word intention, what you want to do. Similarly, in Android, what kind of operations we want uh, your device to do, then we need to use this intent class. So there are various actions, and what are the various methods that can be done using intent. If you want to launch an activity, then we will have to do the start activity and we will have to pass the intent. If we launch an activity and we want to get result back from the activity, in that case we will be doing the start activity for result. If we want to start a service, then we will be using the start service. And if we want to start a service in a communicative mode, in a chat mode, where I'm sending a question and it response. Then again I'm sending a question, it's a response. In the first case, we just give the request, it will process it and close it out. In the second case, I will just send a request, it will respond, and again it will continue to wait for the request. So that is the bind service. And if we want to send an intent to the interested broadcast receiver, then also the intent is used. So and that intent is a send broadcast. So using intent, we can start three of the Android components. We can start activities, we can start services, we can start broadcast business. Whereas for content providers, they are accessed differently. Okay. So let's go ahead. There are two different kind of intents. One is the implicit intent, another is the explicit intent. Implicit, where it means that order is already given actually. Okay. And in case of explicit intent, we define it by the name. We say that if there are many students are there in the class, then I say, Mohan, you go and do this work. So I'm explicitly asking Mohan to do this work. So when we are using intent in the explicit mode, we name the component that we want to start. We name the component that we want to start. So see, in this case, what we say, for creating an object of intent class, we use the constructor intent, and this is the reference to the current class. This is the reference to the current class. And second is the reference to the class that we are going to call. Second is the reference to the class that we are going to call. So here we say activity2.class, and then now we want to instantiate this instant. For that we call the method the start activity. Okay. So in the explicit intent, we are naming the activity name explicitly. Whereas in the case of implicit intent, we just specify the action and then we leave it onto the system that which component Android selects, or we leave it on the user which component user selects for doing this work. So like we can say, for instantiating this kind of implicit intent object, we supply two parameters, that is action, what kind of action we want him to do, and for doing this action, what kind of data that is being supported. So let me give you an example. Actually, if we want to say that we want to open a browser, we want to open a Facebook page. So we say that action_view and data is Facebook page. So what happens? Android will go and see what are the various browser applications which are installed on your device. And if it is installed, then it will give the user the option which browser you want, or which browser application you want to select. So user selects that browser applications and then it will open in the application. So for instantiating this kind of implicit intent, also we do the start activity. Once we do the start activity, our control goes to the Android, and Android will be doing those activity, and Android will show all the options to the user, then user can select it. So here we do not say actually which browser class we want to open it. So we are leaving the decision onto the Android. Okay. So these are the various implicit intents. One is action_view. where we want to open the Facebook page. So here we have a intent action underscore view URI dot pass http://www.facebook.com. So if we have to open any HTML page, then we will have to call URI. What is the full form of URI? Save, okay, Uniform Resource Identifier. Uniform Resource Identifier. This is one of the standards actually how you are going to name a resource. So there are definite pattern of naming the resource. Okay. So what this URI.parse does, it checks the name that you have given, it follows that standard. If it doesn't follow the standard, then it will be giving the error. Let's see, we have another action underscore call. This kind of intent, it will instantiate a phone call. It will instantiate a phone call. For this, we require to have a permission and android.permission.call underscore phone. So how we
manifest we have to mention this?
Yeah, we have to mention this as permission in the manifest.xml file. We have to mention this permission in the manifest.xml file.
What is this MIMA type?
MIME type actually what kind of data that we are going to. So there is nothing different kind of data actually. Data we have to specify only in the tail colon phone number format. So what we say that for creating an object of intent, we say that intent.action underscore call. Okay. It means that for this action, we want this action to be done on this data. So here we are getting URI.parse tail colon and then this is the number. Okay. So Android will be able to identify, okay, if we have to use this action underscore call, then we will need the data which is preceded by the name tail. If tail is not there, it will say that inappropriate data or it will abort. After that, we will do the start activity in call, then the control will go to the Android. Android will see what are the applications which are available which can instantiate this call. If there is only one application, Android will immediately instantiate that. If there are multiple applications, then it will give the user options, okay, what you want to do.
Yes.
Okay? Similarly, there are many more implicit intents. Action underscore view, if you want to view particular user. Action underscore view, particular contents with having this telephone number. If we want to open a dialer, then we can use the action underscore dial.
Okay.
Similarly, content.
Can you explain this once more?
Here it will display the information about the person which is first person which is there in your telephone directory.
Okay.
Okay.
And this?
This is for the telephone number, contact for the people whose name starts with this. This will display the person whose telephone number starts with this.
Okay.
This will read the information for the person whose name starts with 1. This is open a dialer with the telephone number 123. Okay. This will open the dialer with the person name starting with 1. Okay? Okay? These are the things that are done.
Okay.
So we will be able to do this. Okay? This was all about the implicit intent. Let me show you where you should go and do a study about the implicit intent. Let's go to the Google and say Android implicit intent reference. Okay. So after that you will get the first link. Click here, and then just scroll down. So building an intent, action, data. category, implicit intent, forcing an app user, default filter, pending intent, intent resolution, category test, data test. Go to another one. Yes, here you will get a list of all the intent standard activities.
All the actions. Which
All
can
the
be-
actions, all the actions which are there actually. So you should go through this list
Okay.
and see it. And this is the RAM bar for anything that you want to do in Android.
Okay.
You, please do not start directly coding. See if the implicit intent is available. Use that instead of doing anything. If you want to play music, implicit intent is there. If you want to click a photo, implicit intent is there. If whatever you want to do, please go and see that implicit intent is there or not. Okay. So this is the page where you should go and see the things.